I think the method of teaching, which is called the narrative tradition, where people describe their own thoughts, their own pattern of thinking, and their own emotions, and how they interact for themselves, and they disclose this for the benefit of an audience, I'm almost as attached to the method of delivery as I am to the material itself, because this is about normal and high-functioning people for which there's very little education, actually. And it has been such an experience over this 30 years that I've been at this for myself to be able to see the faces awaken when an audience sees people who are like themselves, where the language being used on the stage is congruent with the way that they think culturally, or they think in terms of their job or their state in life. I remember doing one for union organizers, and I had unionists up on the stage. And the whole thing was remarkable because they really got the impression, they got the clarity that these people with whom they'd worked for a long period of time really thought in a different way than they thought. They might agree on the vote or the platform that they wanted to promote, but that the way that they handled information was so different. But the audience could grasp that very complex idea in a very user-friendly way simply by having Al or Sam or John say, you know, I like you to stand up to me and confront me with your argument. Oh, you weren't really angry at me, or you weren't just an angry person. You were seeking something in wanting this conflict kind of connection, because then you could really see how it mattered to me. That was the assessment that you were making, whether I was really fully committed or not. It wasn't about that you were angry at me as a person. And oh, I see that when you just seem to be waffling, Mr. Nine, it's not that you're just, you know, not being coherent about what you think. You're simply trying to come to a consensus here among all of us, and you don't want to stick your agenda in prematurely. Oh, I get it now. And this was after a long period of time where these guys had worked together, and women had worked together for periods of years, but they never understood, though they deeply trusted the 8 and the 9 in this example, why exactly they behaved that way. In 2007, I also gave a talk at Harvard School of Law. Now, the setup was very different because these were conceptually trained people. And so they expressed themselves on the panel in highly intricate conceptual language, which would have been not of interest to another kind of panel where you want people up on that stage with whom the audience can identify. I think identifying with the spokespeople and the utter believability of the communication from the speakers on a stage representing their type as they passionately feel about their existence and wanting to be understood by the audience. The absolute sincerity is the selling point. The audience can take in, this is true. It isn't true the way I see the world, but it's true the way the panelists see the world. And there actually are 9 coherent points of view, and I can identify that each one of them is different from the others.